Hello, hi. Welcome to the Modology Motorsports podcast. I'm Blake, and I'm all alone today. Marcus is on assignment and is unavailable to join me today. This episode being a little late kind of messed up our schedule a little. So you get just me today. I do have a little bit to talk about. This probably won't be as long as a regular episode, seeing as I don't have Marcus to bounce things off of. But we do have some stuff. Excuse me. So, sorry, I muted the phone, forgot to mute the tablet, so it's going off. Anyway, okay, I usually start every episode just rambling about horrible things that have happened to my car or one of the cars. And this episode's not going to be any different. I think on the last episode I talked about everything that I'd done to the Focus, like all the changed the timing belt, I've changed pulleys, I've changed all kinds of stuff on that car. And I was starting to think that the Focus was going to be like the most reliable car in the fleet. It had to be, right? Considering it, I mean, everything's been like, there's still just a handful of things I got to do to it. But everything had almost been changed on that car. Well, everything was good for about 2 weeks until the engine started making a noise. This is after the timing belt change. The engine started making this noise, and it was a steady, just tapping sound at first, and then it started getting a little louder and louder, and finally, my wife, I checked it one day before she left one day, and I thought it had to be like the air conditioner compressor. Like the pulley on the air conditioner compressor, because I was like, everything else has been changed. It's got to be something new completely. Well, and I was worried that she wasn't going to have air conditioning, with the summer coming. So we kind of let it go. I wasn't really sure what to do. I've never messed with the air conditioning on a car before. So, the safe thing to do is just let it go. Just not worry about it. And I looked under the hood and couldn't see like anything else wrong. I was worried to death that noise was going to be something to do with the timing belt or the timing belt tensioner pulleys or something. But seeing the timing belt like fine, it was satisfying and relieving. So anyway, the wife was coming home one night, and the lights dimmed on her, and she was pulling in the gas station. I got a video of this happening from the dash cam, but I don't really want to. Hang on, let me see if I can show it and like maybe mute the audio because there's music playing in it. Oh, okay, hang on. Let me see if I can mute the audio. There we go. Okay, so she's coming home. And she's going to stop in the gas station. She said it was still making the noise that day. And fast forward. Here we go. Okay, she's still making that noise. She said it started getting louder and louder. And the store is right up here on the left. She said this truck was coming, and she stops for the truck. I think it's hard to tell. It looks like the lights are already. Yep, the lights are already getting dim. So the serpentine belt snapped again. We've been having trouble with that belt for a while. I've changed it a couple times due to the pulley, tensioner pulley, and you can see it real good when she pulls up against the wall here. And if you're listening to the audio only version of the podcast, check out the YouTube video for this. See, they are super dim. So luckily she just pulled in and just cut it off. Anyway, she calls me. I go over there, pop the hood, and there's just shredded belt all over everything. And I was so worried it was going to get in the timing belt because I had left the top cover off so I could kind of keep an eye on stuff. And but it didn't. During the reassembly of everything after the timing belt change, I put Loctite on everything except 3 bolts. There's 3 bolts that hold the water pump pulley on, and 2 of the bolts had fallen out, and the pulley had like wedged itself against the block, and it looked like the belt had continued to run over that pulley, that stop pulley, for a while, until it just finally just shredded the belt to it just finally snapped. So there's that. So I get everything changed. I ended up getting some new bolts from the local parts store. The actual pulley itself was okay, and put a new belt on. But as I was putting everything back together, the brand new idler pulley that I put on when I changed the belt tensioner, I guess with the belt just slipping over it, like it's supposed to be this thick, and it ends up like this thick, where it was just like melt. She said, "I smelled something burning." And I was, yeah, I bet. So there it is. So I had to go back. This pulley was okay technically when I changed it. Like, it wasn't making noise or anything. I just changed it because it kind of came with a set. But now the factory idler pulley is back on, and it's a metal pulley instead of the plastic. So everything is okay again. And then here's a video I made. Alright guys, talking to the guys in the Focus ZX3 lovers group, and I was kind of explaining what was going on. So we'll make this a little bit bigger here, and we'll check this out. Alright, here's this. We're back in business. Got 3 brand new bolts and the water pump pulley. Everything seems to be straight. It has some of the old belt wrapped around it, around the actual water pump, so I had to pull that out. And yeah, so I think we're good. But check this out. When that pulley got crossed up in there, look what it did to the idler pulley. It's like worn half of it off. You know, I put the old one back in, and you see it down there, but I put the old one back in for now. There it is, because it's metal, and it still sounded okay. I was just changing the belt, so I went in and changed the tensioner, went in and changed it too. But yeah, we'll go back with the stock one for now. But if you lose the bolts, or if you lose some of the bolts for your power steering pump pulley, or water pump pulley, I'm sorry, they're I just got them at my local hardware store, and then I had to add a washer to them to get them the same length. And by God, they got Loctite on them this time. Alright guys, we're back in business. Alright guys, we won't watch that again. So I guess you can see that that water pump pulley too, it's not exactly in the best location to be changing. So the hardest part, the biggest dread of that whole thing was knowing, okay, number one, the overflow reservoir has to come out, you know, be moved out of the way. Like for everything you do on that car, you got to move the overflow reservoir out of the way. So I move it, and then, of course, the gap, you couldn't get a fist like in there on the bolts to tighten them. So the motor mount has to come out again. Take the motor mount out, raise the engine up, and then, and honestly, once you get it at an angle, it's a lot easier to work on once you've got, you know, easy access to that pulley. So they are Loctited in now, and I figure the next thing that'll happen will be the water pump will go bad. Now that I'll have to torch the bolts out next time. But for now, again, the Focus is completely redone. Let's see. Let me see what else I got in my notes here. I still got a handful of things to knock out on that car. I still got there's a video on the YouTube channel, the ignition switch that's kind of screwed. That's still an ongoing project with that car. I've got it where it'll turn more now, but still not out. So that's still a project. The blower motor, like, selector switch for where the air will come out in the car is stuck on defrost. So that needs to be taken care of. Let's see. Oh, and the shocks on the hatch I replaced less than a year ago. And if it's warm out, they work fine. If it's cold out, it's iffy. You know, you can put the hatch up and it may stay up for a while, but it doesn't ever want to fall until you're reaching into the back of the car to get the groceries out. And I don't know if you've ever had a hatch close on you, but it's real it's real startling. So I've worked back-to-back overtime these last 2 weeks, and this last Saturday was the first like nice Saturday I had off where I could get some stuff done. It was like sunny, 75 degrees, and ended up like splitting my time between some house chores and something with the Toyota that's been driving me crazy. I finally got around to fixing the passenger side window on it. I went to let it down one day. If you haven't been following along, I went to let it down one day. It's an electrical window, and something popped, and then the window wouldn't roll back up. So I had like slid it up with my hand, taped it in place, and the tape holds for a while, and then the glass would slide down some, and it didn't ever want to slide down until you're going like 65 on the highway. And it's not enough to like, that's enough to just make just wind noise. So finally fixed it. But there's no video for that because I'd never really like messed with anything inside a car door before beyond like just changing speakers. Well, I guess the Focus door handle was like the only like door stuff I'd ever done. But wasn't really 100% sure what I was doing, so didn't make a video because I figured it'd be hard to help somebody when I'm not sure what I'm doing. But it is fixed. The window works again, and that is wonderful. But along with my catastrophic failure, serpentine belt failure, my friends had also had some pretty gnarly car trouble in March. So my friend Eric was having some trouble. He had recently bought like a Ford F350 diesel truck, and it's nice. It's like the utility version where it's got like the toolboxes and stuff on the back, like the utility bed. So he bought that to haul his camper and stuff with it, and he had been driving it. And I asked him on Facebook, I said, well, here, give me a quick summary of what happened. So Eric says, the truck started making a slight knocking sound one day. It was knocking like hell the next day. He took it to a friend and to have it looked at. He said he'd heard the noise and said it was either the flywheel or torque converter. Next day he confirmed that it was the flywheel. And he says apparently this happens occasionally with the 7.3s. Now this is his flywheel. It had come like completely, I don't know how much of this was still holding on to the actual, like, to the block. But like the whole piece around like the bolt holes had broken off. So yeah, no wonder it was making a noise. So he had to have a new flywheel put in. So that was Eric's catastrophic failure. And then my brother-in-law has some problems. I guess it was contagious, or it comes in threes or something. But my brother-in-law drives a Ford Mustang. After I plastic mine, plastic the Civic, he saw that. We kind of talked about it, about the reliability of plastic. So we sprayed his Mustang, and by we I mean my father-in-law. But my father-in-law sprayed the Mustang for him, like a hunter green color. And he had an accident a couple days before, maybe a week before, and he had put a dent in the hood of the car and messed up the front bumper a little. And even in that accident, the plastic dip didn't scratch, it didn't rip, it didn't peel. It all held up. Oh, it busted his headlight out too, I think. It bent the hood, busted the headlight. So he says, well, here, these are his words. I asked him what happened, and I'll show you the pictures. He says, so pretty much whenever I got into that wreck, it split my hood like a foot on the front, and I guess I really didn't pay much attention to it. So by splitting on the front, he means like the seam right at the front where the hood closes, right at that front edge. And now keep in mind, a Mustang hood's got, you know, the vents and stuff in it. So so I was driving it down 411, and the wind pushed the tip of my hood up just enough to get air in between the split. It was literally like a flash of lightning, and just completely ripped my hood in half. Scared the absolute shit out of me. So we'll start with this picture. This is the top of the Mustang, and you can see that where the hood had come back and smacked it, it left some marks in the plastic dip, but still it didn't rip, it didn't peel, so it left like a hood print there. Alright, we'll move on to picture number 2. There's the windshield. Busted the windshield. And at this point now, he's had, you know, a new windshield put in, got a new hood. He's got it all taken care of. And now, there we go. It's like it just split the top skin just right off the hood. But you can see along the front where it cracked, like through here, all along the front here. And I guess when it split, like he says, it was just enough to get air in between the layers, and the whole like top skin of the hood just came off. So that's pretty crazy. Poor guy. So it runs in threes. Everybody was having car trouble this last month. Catastrophic car troubles this last month. Well, now Marcus would usually ramble about what... Sorry, my dogs are going crazy. Marcus would usually ramble about what he's got going on, but with him on assignment, Marcus is unavailable. So we'll jump right into the news. The Fast and Furious cars are up for sale. Now, here, I'll pull the story up. I read the story. This is from Drive Tribe. I read the story, and it says that the Fast and Furious cars are up for sale. Time to get bidding. And it shows some of the cars that were up for auction. You know, the famous Eclipse. And then you move on down to the iconic Supra. It kept going down. The Charger, DK's 350Z, which this car, even though it says here, even though it was built for Fast and the Furious, for the movie, it had a 6.2 liter LS3 dropped in instead of the Nissan engine. So that's pretty cool. And then finally, the Civics. Now, part of what I don't understand about this, I mean, it would be awesome to have one of the Civics from Fast and the Furious. It's like one of the first cars they show, the first car they show in the beginning of the movie. But I was reading this, and in this whole article, none of it ever says like how much they sold for, or what the charity they were these were being sold for was, if they were being sold for charity. But this kind of threw me off here. It says Nomad engine for the Thieves car, just a 2.0 liter Ford Duratec engine. So I looked this up. I was like, why would they take the engine out to put a Ford engine in for the movie? And there is like, I can't find any confirmation for this. Everything I looked at online says the cars had VTEC engines. So they were all Honda engines. So I'm not sure what this is about here. Had a 2.0 liter Ford Duratec engine, which is out of like a Focus pretty much. So I don't know. So it shows all these cars for sale, or they were for sale, they were up for auction. But then it never says where the auction was. I kind of, after I picked this story, I kind of started thinking, is this a real story? This isn't from like April Fool's, but it was from 12 weeks ago. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, if I could have had any of these, I think it would have been a toss-up between the Supra and probably the Charger. Because the Eclipse, you don't see, like, these things, especially around here, you never see these anymore, ever. If they're still even running. I saw one that was for sale that had a bad transmission, but the inside was terrible. But they're just all gone. And now the Eclipse is like an SUV. So this is like, they're just gone. And that makes me sad that all these cars are going the way of the SUV. And speaking of cars going the way of the SUV, that brings us to our next story, especially while we're talking about Mitsubishi. Everybody have a seat. The story is also from Drive Tribe. Mitsubishi confirms it will no longer make sports cars. So we kind of known that the Evo was on its way out, but this makes me incredibly sad. I mean, I know the car companies have got to do what they've got to do what's going to make money, and I understand that. But I've always been like a car fanatic. I mean, trucks are okay. If you have a truck and you're working on it, then that's cool. That's great. But me personally, I've always been a car guy, and I feel like it makes me almost feel like what I enjoy is dying out, and I don't know, it's just a weird feeling, because I've always liked my Civics and the Accords and Supras and Skylines and Eclipses and Evos, and they're slowly all starting to go away. I mean, we just talked in the last episode about how Ford had stopped making all their passenger cars and had switched the last Focus plant over to make the Ranger truck, which, speaking of, I saw like one coming home today, and that's a pretty cool truck. But yeah, so Mitsubishi is done. There will never be another Eclipse car. I'm hoping maybe one day, maybe the Evo will come back, even if just as like a limited edition or something. But it's sad to see that awesome car just gone. So Marcus is gone. The Evos are gone. This is terrible. So those are the two stories that I pulled for this week. There was one more, but I needed Marcus to be here to do it, so we'll skip over it for now. But let's move on to some site news for the Modology YouTube channel. The beginning of this month, we're giving away a dash cam. I did a review for one, the Anchor Rove A1 dash cam, and we finally gave it away. It was a big success, I think. I don't know how many people I thought would enter this contest. I was thinking maybe 100, if I was lucky. Maybe 100 people would enter. Chim My Chim in the chat says, Mitsubishi closed? No, Mitsubishi didn't close. They decided that they announced they're not going to make cars anymore. They're moving to strictly SUVs. So they've just dropped the Evo, the Eclipse switched to a SUV, and they're done with cars for now. It's just all SUVs. But we gave the dash cam away. I thought maybe we'd have 100 people would enter or so. We ended up having like 459 entries in the contest, and like my mind was just completely blown that we would have that much participation. Chim My Chim says, screw them then. Yeah, exactly. Now the Subarus don't have any competition anymore. And what the GTRs have in the Supra now is, for their competition, is iffy at best. But we're planning on doing another giveaway in the future. Not sure exactly when just yet. But if you did enter that, then we are extremely grateful because it turned out way better than I'd ever hoped. But we gave away the dash cam, we gave away a t-shirt, and we gave away a Modology vinyl decal, and all those prizes have been sent out. Let's see, there's the videos on the channel for the dash cam review, there's videos on the channel for announcing the contest winners, and the day that we announced the contest was also the first day of spring, and it was also the launch of the Modology Motorsports dash cams 18-wheeler edition. So we've had just the regular dash cam videos from me and my wife from our cameras, and now my stepdad has gotten involved. He drives a truck, and if you thought things were bad in town, things don't get any better like on the interstate. So I've got a lot of clips from him. There's some that he gave me the first time around I haven't used yet that are ready to go for another video, and then I picked up another 30-something clips from him 2 weeks ago, I think. So we got plenty of content coming on the dash cam front, at least on the 18-wheeler dash cam front, and I've got enough clips now, I think, for just a regular dash cam video too. I just need to get motivated now that the overtime's over before I start overtime again and get some stuff put together. Let's see. So okay, 18-wheeler dash cam videos are up. I made some progress in the video game garage. The last episode 2, I think it was like level 6 or so. Well, the video game garage is bigger, and I've purchased two actual cars now. So Marcus and I had talked in the last episode about having a competition, about like a build-off pretty much, and I've selected a car finally for the build-off. So I'm gonna get back into that soon. I need to put up a new video with an update on the garage anyway, so everybody can check it out, and I'll show everybody then the two cars that I own now to work on at my leisure. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at the top 5 videos for the last 28 days, and then My Chim says, and then you're donating the car out of the video game garage? Where is it? Okay, hold on. Okay. Top 5 videos by viewing minutes. And we'll start with number 5, of course. 5,546 viewing minutes is the Honda Civic brake master cylinder replacement video. At number 4, it's 6,081 viewing minutes for the last 28 days, the Ford Focus belt tensioner and pulley replacement. Use your Loctite. At 6,519 minutes, the Ford Focus radiator replacement. That one's dropped down a little. It used to be around 10,000 viewing minutes, and it's dropped down to 6,500, but I don't know. I figure let the warm weather start, then the radiators start going again. At number 2 is the Ford Focus door handle replacement, which that one really took off. For me to have like not really shown how to fix it, I more or less took it apart and then just boom, it was back together. 12,830 viewing minutes, and at number 1, at no surprise, still hanging in there at over 20,000 viewing minutes at 23,387 viewing minutes, the Honda Accord cylinder head removal. This video has really blown my mind at how popular it became. But we got a lot of good feedback from people, comments. Let's see if I can. Cody Sturm. This is on the the Focus belt tensioner and pulley replacement video. He says, "Hey, thank you very much for the video. Having the same issue. Couldn't figure out how to get to the idler pulley. Advanced so they couldn't get a bolt for the idler pulley. Online says Napa has the bolt, so I'm hoping. Anyway, cars are a headache, and this video was super helpful." Well, Cody, I'm glad we could help. On the auto drive dash cam review video, 64 Max Power says, I don't want it for bad drivers. I want it for bad cops. Which reminds me, there's a clip on the next dash cam video. And, well, you'll see. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, because let's just say the police would be real quick to give other people a ticket for not stopping for a school bus. But apparently they can just go around everybody. All right. And that's it. That is everything. I told you it'd be short without Marcus here. Chim My Chim said there's no such thing as a bad cop. There aren't, but I don't know. I just don't think it's fair that they should get to do something that I would get a ticket for. Especially if it's, you know, they're in their own personal vehicle instead of a police car. So just check out the video when I put it up. You'll see. And he says, no, I'm messing with you. Well, all right. Everybody, I know I hate to leave such a short podcast, but hey, we hit 30 minutes. The other 30 minutes would have been Marcus anyway. So I guess I'm going to close it out here. If you have something for the show, you can hit us up at modologymotorsports@gmail.com. If you got something for me, I'm at Hesser414 on Twitter. Marcus is at Brunt_Marcus. Let me see what else there is. At Modology Motors for the show on Twitter. And if you're not a part of it, join our Facebook group. We got a lot of good conversation there. Stay on for another 2 hours. Ooh, there's, you know, no, I can't. Not without Marcus. Chim My Chim says he's got a lot of questions. What have you got? What can I do for you? Let's check before I sign off. Probably not much, unless it's focused or civic related. Alright, anyway, so join the Facebook group if you haven't. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun over there. I post a lot of stupid shit. Where do babies come from? You gotta, just kidding, have a good night. You gotta ask your mom. You gotta ask your mom that one. Alright, guys, thanks for joining me in the group chat, by the way. It's a lot more fun when I have some active participation. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Keep your eyes on the YouTube channel for new dashcam stuff coming up really soon. And I'll have my ass out and back under the hood of a car with some sort of new video for something pretty soon. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. And we'll see you next time.